Welcome to the Mound City Council meeting for Tuesday, May 13th. We are in City Council chambers, and we can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have our agenda. Are there any amendments?
No amendments.
No amendments. Could I get a motion to approve the agenda as written?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, that carries. Next, we can move.
We got to vote on it, though.
Oh,
It was just
okay.
the second.
So we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 4, consent agenda. Does anybody want to speak or pull any of those, or before we read them off?
What, is Midco here?
No, Midco is down on number 7.
No, I just want, oh, they're not part of the consent?
No.
Not
Oh.
consent.
Its own.
I just had a question.
Okay.
No, everything's good.
Okay, no discussion on any of those? Would someone like to read off all the items on the consent agenda, please?
I can read those.
Thanks.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda A through I.
We need to read off.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Oh, okay, sorry.
A, approve payment of claims. B, approve minutes April 22nd, 2025. C, West Tonka Library Temporary Space License Agreement. D, Chester Park Playground Equipment Approval. E, approve Resolution 2546, approving public lands permit for property at 4801 Island View Drive. Approve Resolution number 2547, approving public lands permit for property at 5972 Sunset Road. G, pay request number 3 and final in the amount of $940.31 to Blackstone Contracting for the city, for the Surfside Park Playground improvements. H, pay request number 1 in the amount of $220,882 to Widmer Construction for the water treatment infrastructure improvements, Phase 1. And I, approval of dock map addendum, move of northern half of Jennings multiple slip to beachside access.
Okay. And I just need a motion on approving the consent agenda.
She did that in her intro.
Oh, we didn't do it. Okay, I don't have a second.
Oh, I'll second.
Okay,
Yeah.
that'll work. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have roll call.
Roll call.
First?
Well, roll call is the vote, so.
Okay.
Aye. Yes, whatever.
I'll read off your names
All right,
first.
that's good.
Councilmember Herrick,
Aye.
Councilmember McEnany,
Aye.
Councilmember Pugh,
Aye.
Acting Mayor Castellano.
Aye. All right. All those in favor?
That was it.
No,
That was it?
that's it.
Okay,
Yeah.
motion carries. All right. If you were here for any of those items, those all passed. And now we are on to item number 5, comments and suggestions from citizens on any item not on the agenda. If anyone would like to come up and speak. All right. I will move on to number 6, Orono Police Department report.
Evening. Activities through April, we kind of looked through and read through our reports. Everything seems to still be kind of tracking as is. Nothing stood out to me as spiking, but I did notice driving around the past few weeks, we've got construction now again, so we will be watching back roads, doing our thing, trying to keep the traffic flowing like it should be, and hopefully we don't have any issues. Stop signs I saw were set at Bartlett and Commerce, four-way stops now, so we're monitoring them, and then the uptick in traffic on Bartlett now with all the closures. So we're aware, we're watching, we're making sure that everyone's abiding by the speed limits and using caution going through. Other than that, going on in our PD right now, we have bike rodeos going on at OLL. We've got several officers out there doing their bike rodeo this evening from 6 to 7:30. Our crime prevention open will be June 16th at the Island View Golf Course. We are in the final interview process for a new officer to bring on board. This week, I believe he will have the chief's meeting. So and after that, we're just waiting for him to pass post board, pass physicals, and pass psychologicals. So we'll hopefully have somebody on board here or starting the onboarding process here in the middle of June. So other than that, Officer Braden Sherman and his canine partner Onyx, they are in their final 2 weeks of training and should be road ready maybe a week after Labor Day. So,
Cool.
any questions?
I have a question. When are you going to start patrolling down at Surfside?
We will, that's already in effect, so guys are, I believe it's, they're the no trailer parking.
Well, I know it's in effect April 1st, but are you going to actually, because we want to put a notice on our
Yeah,
Facebook page, so will you really start over Memorial Day weekend?
we can start as early as now. I mean, if the law, if the signs state that they can't park there, I mean, we'll check them. I mean, on the
Okay.
weekends, all it takes for me, I just have to send an email to the patrol and make sure you have to remind them from time to
Sure.
time, because we've been out of that exercise for the winter months. So I just send an email, let them know, hey, let's start hitting it and making sure. So, and then, that we'll just make sure we're down there, especially on Saturdays and Sundays. That's usually when the offenders are in there, so.
Thanks. I just didn't
Okay.
want
I
to
have a
post that
question,
until
too.
you were actually going to be down there.
Yep,
So
no,
that-
we
that's
can,
great.
it's just a reminder to the officers to make sure they run through there and check it, so.
Thank you.
I have a comment on that because at the Gillespie Center, as a result of us tightening up Surfside, they're having problems with people with their trailers pulling into the Gillespie lot, turning around, wrecking up their turf, which our city, Public Works, have gone and patched it, but they're having problems, and so they're going to put up a sign that says no trucks or trailers, and only if you're there for Gillespie business.
Yep.
But they've had a pickup as a result of our tightening up at Surfside. People have moved down
I bet.
to their property.
Yep, and try to turn around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's private property, so all it takes is something to have to put up a sign that just clarifies that they don't want people turning around or entering their lot.
Yeah.
from,
Now,
so.
the other thing is, about a month ago, I got a letter from one of our new residents. I think that she lives in Artesa. She said that she had just moved to Mound in the last month, and she was complaining about the sirens, and I think I brought this up before. But lately, I've been paying attention because I live a block off of Commerce. And not this past weekend, but the weekend before, on Sunday, I remember there were sirens every hour. There were like 6 of them. And I don't think that's you guys. So if it is Minnetrista, which is my suspect, because what you can hear, you can tell that they turn the sirens on when they get to the 4-light intersection. And they run it, and then you can kind of tell they're about 3 points, and they go off. So I think they're using them to run through Mound. And is there any way we can get them to give us some consideration as they ride through our town? Or can we tax them or something for noise?
The hard part is that is regulated by state statute on how we drive our emergency vehicles. So what they're probably doing coming through town, because they have to get through it, we have stoplights, stop signs, traffic, they have to turn on red lights and sirens in order to drive in emergency modes. So,
But are there that many emergencies? I
Are
mean,
they ambulance, do you think, or?
no, it's not the ambulance. I'm pretty sure it's, and it's not the fire truck.
that Sunday evening was the.
Yeah, we did have a missing mental health incident that where we had actually, there was a complaint, we had a Trooper 4, which is our search and rescue airplane up above us for about 4 hours, 2 hours probably floating around. They
Oh, I
did-
heard that
They did
too.
help us find
Okay.
her, so.
So you're saying like for state statute, they have to turn on the siren so they
Yep.
can trip the lights and get through?
And ultimately, the officer driving that squad car, he is responsible for whatever happens. So if they're running through here with sirens and lights on, it's because they are covering themselves for liability purposes. Because if something happened and they were flying through town at 50 miles an hour and they hit somebody, it's on them, and they can be in a lot of trouble, both criminally and civilly. So it's one of those things that if they have to use them, they better be using them so that they aren't, if they're driving above the speed limits and stuff, so.
So you're saying pretty much as long as they're in compliance with your regulations,
Yep.
we're gonna have this noise pollution.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk to one of the Minnetrista sergeants, see what but I almost promise you, we can't do anything about it unless
Yeah.
these guys are just playing around and they're trying to get through town, but I highly doubt they're doing that. They know better than that, they should know better than that. It's mostly because they have to get through town and it means they're abiding by their state statutes and our policies, so.
Okay.
I can talk to them, find out what they're doing. I know Minnetrista runs through here a lot too, and they have to because their borders are right on the north side.
Yeah, it
of us,
is one
so.
of the problems with our relationship with Minnetrista is to get to any side of Minnetrista, north or west,
Yep,
they have to go through Mound.
yep.
So we get it. So I don't know if you get it on West Edge? Do they ever come down there?
Not a lot.
They
I
probably
mean, I
just
can
go
hear
down
it, but it's not,
15.
they're not coming down West Edge unless there's an event that they need to,
They probably just go down 15.
Yeah, typically.
I don't hear them cutting through that much, not with sirens.
No, sometimes it wouldn't make practical sense for them to do that, so they would probably not
Yeah,
cut
unless
that.
there's an incident where they're trying to get from one side to the other, and that just happens to be the
Yep.
shortest route.
Mhm.
I get that. No, we definitely don't want them violating state statute and getting in trouble. so.
Yeah.
It's an annoyance, but
No, it just depends on how active the day is, it'll come and go, so. And an ambulance coming into town too, they'll have theirs on too, so it's the same
Sure.
thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, those are my comments.
I'm glad it's quiet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to number 7, Midco franchise approval, ordinance 32025.
I can do a quick review of this.
Thank you.
So this is the second part of the process of the franchise award for Midco Communications. So they approached the city of Mound for them to be able to operate a telecommunications system throughout the city. One part of that is getting the franchise approval process completed. They do have yet to submit their, we've had an internal staff meeting where they still have to submit the plans, specs that the city will have to sign off on before they start digging and coordinating that work. But this is the kind of the administrative side of things. So as part of the process, there was a public hearing that was completed on April 22nd. The franchise agreement that's gone back and forth between staff and the company was provided in the packet. That is the ordinance that's here in the packet this evening that's being requested for approval. So I think state statute and Attorney Landsman can confirm that they cannot be passed on the same evening. So a public hearing was done at the previous meeting, and then the guidelines then state you need to wait, I think, at least 7 days to approve the franchise agreement, and so that is the part that's coming to you this evening. And again, this ordinance has been reviewed by both the city and the company, and including Attorney Scott Landsman. And so we've satisfied those processes. Again, we do have to, in order for it to go into effect, it needs to be posted in the newspaper. And then I believe they need to approve it on their end within 30 days of posting for it to go into effect. And then at that point, it would be considered approved, and they are also then able to start submitting application for working within the right-of-way within the city of Mound. So staff is recommending approval of the ordinance in the packet this evening, and then there's a resolution as well to post it in the paper in summary format, so that just summary format, just so that we don't have to pay to print the whole entire ordinance in there. So both the ordinance would need a approval and the resolution.
And the ordinance is on 1263 and the resolution is on 12, wait, are they both 1263?
I think so.
12, well, the publication is 1263, sorry, and the franchise is 1236. Transpose that. So just to summarize again, we had the public hearing as part of the process. Public hearing is closed, and then following the statute, the ordinance comes to the next meeting for consideration and for the council.
We had no objections or complaints or anything?
We haven't.
Contestation or whatever the word.
We haven't received any emails or,
Okay.
I think there was one comment at the last meeting about ownership, but that was, I believe, the only comment we've received at a staff level.
All right.
So you didn't see anything that caught your eye?
Well, the franchise ordinance, or we call it this franchise agreement, franchise ordinance, I would say it was heavily negotiated, but it's a general format. We've been doing it with other cities that I've been negotiating too, and so there's nothing really out of the ordinary that I would see here. It does provide for the city, just similar to our other franchise ordinances, like with Excel, to receive a franchise fee out of this.
Okay. So I know that you guys have both stated it's like administrative tonight, but it's like we would approve it if everything else sticks, like once they finish everything on their end, and then this would just go through as is.
Well, the ordinance itself, what we're adopting this is the ordinance. It's published. They have to sign off on it. If you look at the bottom of the end of the ordinance, there's a spot for the city signature and their city signature, or their signature of acceptance. But they still have to submit plans to the city. They'll have to get permits onto this. This is basically, think of this is the framework for the relationship. This is what this is.
Okay.
So they're still, this is the legislative part of it, I would say. And then they still have to, then the administrative part would be the permits, the plans, those kind of things one of the things I should state in here that would be helpful, if there are issues where they're not following what they're supposed to under the franchise ordinance, there's, or otherwise causing problems which are stated in this ordinance, there is financial penalties that would be attached to them, and there's actually a fund that's going to be deposited with the city that the city can draw upon. So, and that's actually was presented as an option by Midco, so.
Okay.
I have a quick question. Jesse, you might know this, or maybe even Matt. I asked kind of Midco a portion of this question when they were here last. But, once they start digging in Mound to get all this cable in, how long about does that generally take? Does anybody know? Because they have to go literally to every neighborhood in Mound, correct?
I think they said 3 phases over 2 years.
Over 2 years.
Yeah.
And that's what he was saying, it was like the directional boring, it's not like, digging a trench in everyone's. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, and I don't see the build-out map in here, but the phases are, basically, there's 3 phases for each 3 phases. I think it's actually over a 3-year period. So each year, because it's 25, 26 is phase 1, 26, 27, and then 27. Oh, I'm sorry. They have down that they're doing it, yeah, right, 3 phases. They combine phase 2 and phase 3 together, it looks like.
That sounds right.
Yeah, that sounds more like it, okay. I
Okay.
think the intent is they want to, the sooner they get this up and running, the sooner they can start
They can
making
start
money.
moving.
Because they can't really reach out to residents till it's all up and running, or can they start reaching out to certain neighborhoods?
They're already sending out, I got
Yeah.
a postcard in the mail. so
They
they're
indicated
sending out
that they do
marketing.
pre-sales.
Yeah, and I think they'll hook them up kind of as they're going faster, second crew comes behind.
God,
So basically, this gives our citizens, what, a third option? Is it a third or fourth?
Well, I think it was the only, it's a third, it's, yeah, like MediaCom, Frontier, and then this, but then there's
Mm-hmm.
also, I think they were the only ones offering fiber, right?
well, Frontier is about to, too.
Okay, so
Well, I
it's
get
like,
fiber through AT&T,
yeah.
and I've never understood it
So
because
there's
the
those three
franchise fee on
options, and
it.
then there's like others too, like T-Mobile and stuff. but-
It's just another option.
Yeah,
Competition, good.
but it's a lot of, it's a lot of
Infrastructure, sure.
mess, infrastructure mess.
Mhm.
Will we ever be done with infrastructure mess?
Never.
No.
Ask the engineer.
Not unless we-
I'm looking straight at Matt.
Your
Yeah.
favorite word, capital improvements. Okay, so we just need
Thank
to
you.
approve this then?
Yeah, so if there's no further discussion on the agreement, we just have to do the resolution on 1263.
Well, actually, you do 1236 first. And now we just have to say a motion to approve ordinance number, and then the number's right there.
Okay, I thought the resolution was for
The
that, so.
the resolution is for publication summary, but you have to actually enact or pass the ordinance itself.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve the ordinance
Okay.
first.
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance number 3-2025. Do I have to read the rest, or
Nope.
just, that's good?
All right,
It's
let me get a
identified.
second.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. And then we can move on to 1263. I would take a motion for that resolution.
I can read that.
Now, all you gotta do is just say, is this motion to approve resolution number? That's
Okay.
it.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 25-48.
All right, we have a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. We can move on to agenda item number 8.
I agree.
Thank you, Acting Mayor and Council, Matt Bauman, City Engineer. I'm here for potentially awarding the Seal Coat project this year. So the project area is the southeast portion of Island Park, so from like Bradford Lane and Devon Lane over to Island View Drive, that whole neighborhood over down there. And then that would be the seal coat portion, and then we also added in fog sealing, the Andrews Sisters Trail, so that was done 6, 7, 8 years ago, I think, previously, so we'll just refresh that with the nice coat of black. On there, on May 6th, we requested quotes back from 3 contractors. We got them back from 2, Allied Blacktop and Pearson Brothers, and Allied being the low, at $115,018. They have successfully completed seal coat projects for the city in the past, and so we do recommend the award to them. So with that, I'll answer any other questions, and you have a resolution to award on the next page.
All right, does anybody have any questions for Mr. Bauman? So we have to have like the minimum of 2 quotes, right? And
No,
then
we need a request for more than
Request.
one. If
Okay.
it's over, is it 25,000 up to 175?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool.
And so,
I mean,
All right.
you attempt.
I have a
Yep.
brief question. It may or may not have anything to do with this, but is that why you took all the trees down by the Andrews Trail, down by the, kind of the little pavilion area? Or
that would
maybe
be a
you
question,
didn't do
I
it,
don't
maybe
know
the city
the
did,
answer to
but-
that. I think Public Works maybe did something there down, I know they're taking them out because of that emerald ash borer, but I don't know specifically what about your question, sorry, I can't,
That's
can't help
okay,
with
I
that one.
didn't,
That's the only reason we'd be removing
well,
trees.
they weren't gigantic, big mature trees. It looked like they were clearing it for something else.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been construction then. so-
Okay,
Or not related to this anyway? Or-
Nope.
it isn't, I didn't know
Nope.
if it was or not.
Okay. All right. Well, if there's no further discussion, we need a motion for resolution on page 1266.
Motion to approve resolution number 25-49.
All right, we have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask you one side
Yep.
question?
Yep.
When is the other project starting that is two different parts of 3 Points and somewhere else? Wasn't that like?
The street reconstruction
Yeah,
project
is
is
it-
out for bid right now.
Yeah,
And so
okay.
at the next meeting, we'll come back to you with the results of that.
Got it.
And then typically about a month they would start later, but it'll depend on the contractor and when they think they can go and
Okay.
hopefully hash it all out quickly.
Cool, all right, thank you.
You might know this, or
Yeah.
Jesse, too. I got a email from a resident wondering why we haven't fixed the sidewalk, kind of right outside, kind of across from Artesa, outside of the chiropractor. There's kind of a strip there that's still not finished. Does anybody know?
chiropractor.
Across the
Good.
street, are you talking
Yeah,
On-
That's
on
where
Old
there was
Shoreline?
that-
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah,
that
that's
the-
on the
It's
list.
sinking or something.
Yeah.
That's on the list.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
The list meeting sometime this summer?
Should be within the next few weeks,
Great.
is what we're shooting for.
Sinking, isn't it? And then they've been patching it, I believe.
Yeah.
The one on Old Shoreline, I don't remember why that is there. But Ryan and I just talked about that last week, so
Yeah.
we're getting somebody to
It's like
come in and
you've patched it
fix it.
multiple times.
Yeah.
Like it's sinking or something, and you're having to go back in and amend it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, if it isn't the right strip, we'll hear back from this resident because he reaches out often about portions of sidewalks.
Okay.
So,
All right,
thank you.
we'll make sure to get it eventually.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right. Number 9, comments from council members. Councilmember Pugh, do you have anything?
The legislature has now no budget yet, and so until they have a budget, they can't pass any bills. So today they were having a special session when I was up there, but we'll see. The other thing I know that's kind of related, it's not that it's in our jurisdiction, but we should be concerned. The funding for Meals on Wheels is really in jeopardy from the federal level, and we have a lot of people in this area. I mean, the service comes out of Mound Spring Park, but we service Maple Plain, Minnetrista, Mound, this whole west end of the lake. So it could have an impact on a lot of households that rely on that service and everything. So just wanted to give people alert to that. The other thing is, Gillespie they had their annual meeting last month, or this month, I guess, actually. And for the first time in probably 10 years, they're in the black. They have a long-term tenant lease with West Edge Community Church, who's renting out the big room on Sundays, and then they rent out a smaller room for Bible study groups. And it looks like they're going to actually maybe even rent an office space there for their pastor. So that lease in itself has really made a significant difference for them in this last year. They've had a lot of repairs to do because there was sort of deferred maintenance, but they haven't had to go and touch their endowment, and they appreciate our small contribution. But those contributions made a difference too for them, and the programming has really stepped up. Scotty Bees is doing a lunch once a month. He does special lunch, and that brings in about 60 to 80 people. And they're also now serving breakfast on Thursday mornings. So it looks like that's going to continue. So it's good to see that it's healthy, it's becoming vibrant. They're going to participate in Festival of the Lakes. And, so they're doing well.
That's great.
Cool.
It's good to hear.
All right. Anything else? All right, Councilmember McEnany.
I do not have anything except, what were they doing down at Surfside today?
They're replacing the volleyball net.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I mean, I must
I
have
wondered
had
that too.
30 texts, and I'm like, geez, I hope they're taking the playground out. Nope, that wasn't it.
Just the volleyball net.
I did see
Thank
that-
you.
I did see that on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
The announcement.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Dustin
Yeah.
provided a couple pictures because he was
Being
stopped
called.
many times as well.
Oh, good. I haven't looked at it since this morning,
You'll learn.
so that's great. But I don't have anything, thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Herrick.
I don't really have much. I know, I've been out of town, but I know, Jesse, there were some emails with Jason about the Economic Development Committee. I agree with the instruction that you provided, which was that we've had one in the past. It was dismantled. There are so many limitations on what we can actually do. I think the approach might be more efficient or accommodating to actually act as a conduit to some of the other resources that are available through the state and the county. And then also providing, I think there's a lot of different educational and support items that are available with those resources as well, which can help people wanting to start businesses. I think we need to continue to promote the city any way we can. You know, for example, like you're talking, Sherry, about the tourism, and do what we can to support our businesses in any way, in any manner that we can, so that they know that we're committed to their success, and the community is. And we have to lead that effort. So I'm hoping we can continue. I know we also discussed the Wikipedia article, which somebody keeps dragging us through the mud that we need to clean up. I agree, Jesse, we don't want to get in a match with somebody, but I think the idea of actually providing a link to the city's webpage and where we've got promotional information there to help redirect and make it more authoritative rather than just somebody rambling about, you know, our lovely memorial in the middle of our park.
Well, it's a PR nightmare.
It is. It is.
It's
What
just
is
so
going
wrong.
on?
Somebody keeps going into our Wikipedia page and changing our history to talk about the Eli Hart tragedy.
It's not, yeah.
And they take all our history out.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
I don't look at Wikipedia, so.
Well, I just happened to find, I
Yeah.
stumbled on it.
Yeah.
It was, you know, I just did a
Yeah.
Google search to see what's out
And
there.
sometimes it does pop
Yeah, I
up
mean,
when
it's
you don't even
like-
ask for it.
Like, we
so-
don't want to be, he had nothing to do with Mound.
No,
So we don't
right.
want that on our page.
No.
He didn't even live in Mound.
I mean, they take down all the information about the Andrews sisters and the Tonka toys and everything else
All
that
the
are.
other history
You know,
is
Kevin
gone.
Sorbo, anybody that did anything great here, and they're replacing with it just discussions about Eli Hart. And it's disheartening because it
Is there a way
really,
to find out who it is?
it's very difficult because what they do is they change their IP address and we can't
Sure.
see who's actually doing it. So they're hiding behind a blind ID, basically. But it's definitely, it's
That could be
happening.
somebody full-time just going in,
Yeah,
changing it back
right.
to our real history, like every day,
But
until they get exhausted.
well, and we can report them to Wikipedia. We can do that as well.
Yeah.
But they're not really saying, what they're saying is not necessarily false, it's misleading. How about we word it that way?
It shouldn't be on, it should have nothing to do with the Mound,
It's the
City
fact-
of Mound
yeah, it
page.
just,
basically.
I mean, if you're coming into town and you just do a Google search, you know, the city of Mound, this comes up, whether you like it or not. It's part of the search engine. So, you know, whatever efforts we can make to try to correct it, we
Yeah.
need to do. But we also, I mean, I don't understand it well enough, and maybe you've got somebody, a resource, or know somebody that, you know, can, I know there's ways that it can identify what it's searching for and how it's searching and what's the top priority. And so
Yeah.
maybe Wikipedia wouldn't be the first one up, you know, it might be the city of Mound. With those metadata, with the metadata, I know enough to know the words, but that's about it. You know, you may need a little assistance there. It's not my forte. I know enough to be dangerous, like I said, but I think that's very important because our image is, you know, something that we really have to live behind and use that to help our community and our, you know, everything we've got. It might be even something where we work with the school district and find a student that's willing to.
Yeah, I was gonna say, maybe some of these students who are real, you know, good
Much
on
more
it
savvy than we are.
would know how
Yeah,
to
It might be,
intercept
you
it.
know, it could be a DECA project, you know.
that's a good idea.
I mean, I don't know. Obviously, we don't have a lot of money to address it, but it is important. I mean, we don't need to be known as the armpit of Minnetonka or whatever the other Mound Tucky and all these other quirky things that we've gotten designated with when,
Well, things like that are what completely support the armpit of West Minnetonka.
right.
And it's just so discouraging.
Well, I mean, and I'm talking about friends that I've even had that don't even live in the state, look it up, and they're like, what is this? You know, they think we live in a crime-ridden, awful, horrific place, and it's like, no, that's not the case.
They leave about a paragraph at the very bottom of some minor little history about a few mounds, and that's it. Go to Wikipedia and look it up. You'll see what it
Okay.
has
I will.
on your laptop.
It's not normally on my list, but.
No,
Right.
no,
But
and it
I'll-
wouldn't
Well,
be.
it's good,
I'll go
it's
and look
good for
at-
you to read
yeah.
it so you can see what they
Doing.
keep doing.
I mean, I just accidentally found it when I was looking for, economic development information,
That was a good find, too, because probably, Maggie, right about when you started, we wanted, at that time, Catherine to redo the whole Wikipedia page because it was really outdated. I mean, with our census information and everything. And she hadn't done it, and I've maybe checked twice in 2 years, and that wasn't there. So I think this is very, very recent.
Well, or
Well,
And I'm
maybe,
glad you found
It
it.
was like about 6 months ago, I think, when the edits were made. And you can, if you look at it, you can look at the bottom of it, and it tells you when it was last edited and by which, IP address.
yeah,
I think us actually setting up a Wikipedia account as a city, and then that lends authority to it when we comment, as long as there's no legal liability, I think, as
Yeah.
long as we're,
well, I think also
Presenting facts.
we should do the Explore Minnesota, because you get into, they have a template.
And you can link to that as
and
well.
they
Right.
guard their
Right.
piece, and that's a really great marketing place
Yeah.
for us
Right.
as a city.
and I think you can present links on Wikipedia, which would be beneficial for us as well, because then someone else is doing the work, and we're just
Yeah.
providing
Yeah.
a link.
Well, especially our website,
Yeah.
social media links.
Speaking of website, is that up and running yet?
I don't have like a big update. It is not. I'm working with, there's been some delays. I'm working on it, and I'm now looking at, working with the attorney on kind of a couple things. So,
Gonna give them a little nudge.
You're the holdup?
No.
No,
No, I think-
I'm the one that's gonna give a nudge.
a gentle
Well,
nudge.
we just talked this afternoon, so
Okay.
I'll address it tomorrow.
Anything else?
Usually I am the holdup.
That's all I got.
That's not even
For having
true.
nothing to say, I sure had a lot to say.
No,
Sorry,
no,
I
no.
derailed that whole
All good.
conversation.
All right,
Notebook's falling apart over here.
I think I'm just left. The Mayor Holt asked me to just draw special attention to, under 10D, the correspondence, the letter from Andrew Myers and to Senator Johnson Stewart for letters of support. So he just asked me to call out that they are both in support and we're active in helping us with that, so that everyone read those. I don't have anything else personally. I guess soon we should be looking for another budget meeting and budget workshops, of course, but that's just normal calendar year stuff. Since we approved the consent agenda item for the library agreement tonight, do we already have like a plan in place to communicate that through all the?
Yeah,
Channels.
they're still pulling their budget items together, so this was mostly just, it was done and we're ready for them, so I think that they were hoping by June to maybe start moving, but I mean, I haven't heard that they're ready to tear down or anything over there, so
Okay.
when we do have that, we'll make sure that people know, because I think it's very important that people have an opportunity to still
Yeah,
use the
and
library.
I mean, it's not like a new thing for them, they've dealt with it, but I'm sure they'll have signs up on the edge of their property or something too, maybe directing people to.
Yeah, I think they'll have a
City
pretty
Hall.
robust
Yeah.
communication plan.
Cool.
Now, they're gonna be in the main building or in this building?
In City Hall,
City Hall, okay.
so it'll be, it's basically a kiosk for rentals, a spot to drop off, and another spot for picking up books that you've either reserved on the spot or online. So it'll be, it's not gonna be a spot for hanging out necessarily, but I know the library's working with the school and some other organizations around the area for other options for those that say don't have
Yeah.
internet or something.
I don't have anything else from me. Anything from you guys?
I don't think so. I think we're all set.
All right. I guess with that, I would take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
All right.
didn't sound
All
very
those in
good.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right. We're adjourned.